Hi, everybody. I'm Alex DiCarvalho. I'm the Night Innovator in Residence at FIU. This has been such an incredible morning, I think, and now I'm so pleased to introduce Howard South and Mindy Marqués. Mindy Marqués will go first. Let me quickly read through her distinguished bio. Mindy Marqués is an Executive Director and Vice President for News at the Miami Herald. She was born in New York to Cuban immigrant parents. And she began her career as an intern at the Herald, and she rose through the ranks to become the paper's first Hispanic editor before eventually being named as the managing editor. Under her leadership, the Miami Herald was named for Pulitzer Prize finalist for the 2010 coverage of the Haiti earthquake. And in 2012, Miami Herald was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize in Public Service for series detailing Florida's systemic failures in regulating assisted living facilities. The Miami Herald, of course, has been named for the Miami Herald has won 20 Pulitzer Prizes in its history. Mindy graduated from the University of Florida, where she was honored as Alumni of Distinction by the College of Journalism and Communications. She now serves on the board of the Pulitzer Prize, as well as on the Dean's Advisory Board of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication here at FIU. Mindy?
Yeah, I just did that internship 15 years ago. Right. None of you are math majors either. Let me just tell you a little bit about, we're the traditional media folks here, which sometimes gets a little bit of a black eye. But I guess what I hope you walk away with by the time you hear from both of us is that, what we are now is really a news organization that produces a newspaper at the end of the night. But the reality is that our goal and what we're doing right now is we're meeting our readers wherever they are. And we're trying to meet our readers whether you want the headline and you got it on Twitter and that's satisfying to you, or you want to lean back, as someone just told me, on a Sunday and really have a deep dive. So, in the beginning, way before any of you maybe were even a glint in your parents' eyes, there was this thing called Viewtron, and I like to say that the parent company that owned the Miami Herald was a little bit ahead of their time. This device was, what it did was it would send news to you at home, and you see that kind of monitor. This predates, by the way, like home computers, and I'm not kidding. And maybe that's what happened, we didn't integrate it. And so then you see that lovely keyboard, and so then you could print the stories that you wanted that would come directly to your home screen. You could also, shop at JCPenney. And so conceptually, we were thinking about what you all know as secondhand, but it didn't really work out that well, but just, we were thinking about it. So now where are we? So like I said, we are a multi-platform news organization, and that includes a print product. We have under 112 digital products. Our strategy really is to ensure that wherever you go to get news, that you'll hopefully encounter us in that. We've got 10 websites, some of which you may or may not be familiar with. Of course, I hope that many of you are visit the Miami Herald website, our primary, the mothership, and El Nuevo Herald. We also have a fun Miami.com entertainment website, and I really, for those that like nostalgia, Flashback Miami, where we really put our old photographs. I think we did Lincoln Road yesterday. Look for it every Throwback Thursday, Flashback Friday. And so we have all these websites that we do. We've got 7 mobile-enabled sites, and that's, all, like I said, the key ones that you know. We've got apps galore. We started years ago with the Dolphins app. And now we've got one for every professional team in South Florida, and some of them you may not consider that professional, but you know what I'm saying. They're under, no offense, Marlins. And we have for the Android, for the smartphone, newsletters. Pick what you want, pick your poison. If you want to figure out what to do on the weekend, you get a Miami.com newsletter. And I just had interesting conversations recently with readers, and I'm kind of surprised at how much like newsletters are back in vogue and people are like using these. 20 blogs. I mean, everything from Dave Barry, who continues to be one of our most popular bloggers. I guess that's what happens when you put booger in a sentence, and that's Dave Barry. But no, he's, our humorist, for many of you know. But the Dolphins is a huge driver of traffic. It's one of our most popular blogs. Our Deadline Miami, which is where we are aggregating breaking news, is also super popular. Like I said, we try to be where our readers are. So it's Facebook, it's Twitter, Google+, Instagram, Tumblr, you name it. We're trying to be there and present our news in a way that might, entice people who are using that type of that type of a site. Video has become a really huge thing as well for us, and so we're also, on YouTube as a separate channel, as apart from going to our site, and on video. We obviously are not in the business of doing the cat videos. There are other entities that do that, but we also have found that it doesn't hurt to have a little animal that's cute in a video. One of our last year's biggest videos ended up being a seriously not the finest video you'll ever see in your life, that a reporter did on the fly of a little dog that got this surgery, that it was like the owners had given it up, and they couldn't afford this really expensive surgery, so this Miami veterinarian gave it a surgery, and the little dachshund, he got back to his owner. I think got 355,000 views, so I guess I understand the cat thing now. Rereaders, find us there. So here's where we're at, 8.9 million unique visitors a month. So if you're wondering, well, do people really, traditional media, do people really want, well, yes, they do want what we're consuming, and they're coming to us at extraordinary numbers. And this is, again, this is only our digital numbers, so this doesn't even include the readers based on the print product. 39.8 million pages a month. And this is interesting. I mean, I think we all know where it's going, but I think in Miami, we could say that we over-index for this. So we're probably already above the national average for the percentage of folks who come to us through mobile devices, their smartphones and tablets. And we were talking over lunch that, Hispanics over-index for using mobile devices. And so it makes sense if you think about our market that this would be our numbers. And we get a bunch of people who do come to us through these various, through Twitter, through Facebook, through Google+, and we see that the numbers are pretty high of people who are actually encountering us through social media and then deciding they want to know more and clicking through. I think where the real innovation is taking place is that all these digital innovations has really given us a new toolbox to really do the kind of things that we do well, that quite frankly we're uniquely positioned to do, to shine a light, to expose wrongdoing, to really try to be in some ways, or in many ways, the conscience of a community. And I would say that last year, this project, which is not, it was a very somber topic, it was a project that revealed that problems in the way that the state deals with troubled families really led to the death of over 455 children. It was a powerful story in and of itself, but I will say that I think that having the digital tools that we had to use made it all the more powerful. We found that we were writing about child after child, but after a while, you got the sense that readers were not really one kid sounds like the next kid, right? Dying in horrendous ways at the hands of their own parents or loved ones. But it was the ability to, when you put all the pictures together, and when you actually, what we did was, which this was the part that I think was a little unprecedented, we told the story of every single child who died. This is a searchable database, and if you haven't looked at it, you might want to go and take a look at it. And you can search by child, you can search by county, and what we did was we did a biography of every child because we felt that they should not die anonymously. And we also, every record that we had that we used in our reporting related to their case is also, so you could literally look at the investigations and the notes that are on file. We also used, video was a really powerful storytelling tool in this as well. And we did something, I think, also a little bit different for us in terms of an investigation. Traditionally, as Howard could, attest, you're doing a big investigation, and what we do is that we launch it all in one day and then, roll it out. What we did was, with this one, we really wanted to start getting the story out there before the full project, and the way that we did it was, and I kind of turned to one of my folks and said, what about the Blair Witch kind of approach where, you start leaking things slowly, and we picked like 10 children whose cases were really emblematic of all the problems that we were going to be discussing, and we started every day, a week before, we started sending out little stories about the children who had died. We also did a sort of trailer, if you will. So instead of the long video, we did a very small, a short trailer that encapsulated the entire project, if you would. And really by Friday, before we even published, we already had a response from the Department of Children and Families to a project that hadn't even run yet. And I think that was the power of social media, because we put it out there and it got passed along and passed along. We also are going to have a little fun with new media too. And we also sat around and said, you know what, everybody's aggregating us. How about we turn around and aggregate some of these other guys? And really, and this stems from another one of those little ad hoc conversations that you might have, in the newsroom. For the record, my husband says that I treat every meal like it's my last one. And, for all I know, it may be, so why not? But I am one of those people, like perhaps many of you, we live in a foodie town and you're going to go have dinner, but you're like, I spend all this time researching, like, what does the Miami Herald Review saying? What does Yelp saying? What does this say? And, by the time you're done, it's like it's time for breakfast. So we've tried to figure out, okay, how can we do a one-stop site where you come to this one place and you can figure out an aggregated reviews, so you'll get Miami Herald reviews, Yelp reviews, Google Places, factual, and you'll also figure out whether there's a rodent problem. So we integrated the state inspection reports with reviews, because you know what? The food can't be that great if there's like little pesky critters in the kitchen. So that is actually, we're debuting it today. So you can pull it out on your iPhone and go to dine.miami.com and play with it, and we'd love to get some feedback. But yeah, here's, so again, what new media has really done, what these digital tools has done is, yes, there's been a challenge, right, to traditional media, but at the same time, it's given us a great new toolbox, new things, new ways to tell stories, and really that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to figure out what are the best ways to tell certain stories, and it's not always going to be words. Sometimes the most powerful way to tell a story is a video. Maybe it's an interactive graphic. And so we'll continue to really use all our tools to continue to do what we do best. And that is to, really help our democracy kind of chug along. So that's it for me.